Welcome to episode 11 of MMA with Pepe and Dab. We are your hosts. I am Dab Hatter, and from location unknown, we have my co-host.
Undisclosed location. This is
Yeah,
Pepe.
how you doing, Pepe?
I'm doing good. Thanks for everyone that has been asking and the support. I've been blessed with all the support and help that I got. So thank you very much for asking, and glad to be here to be discussing things that we love.
Yeah, for those of you who may not know, Pepe had to have emergency surgery while visiting the United States, so he pulled through it. He's doing all right, and he's doing just fine. And he wanted to call in from, like he said, undisclosed location, so we could get the podcast done this week, because we have a lot to talk about. A lot went on in the world of MMA and outside the world of MMA, as we all know. We had that farce of a boxing match. I don't know how people
Are
can
you
be
gonna
mad
talk
at it,
about it?
but we'll talk about it. We'll get into it
Oh,
later. We got to talk about it. Everybody's talking about
let's do
it.
it.
So,
Hey, we watch it.
but the reason we're all here, we had an MMA fight this weekend. That's why we took a week off actually last week, because there was no fight. So we figured we'd just take the week off because it was kind of a slow day in the news, or slow week in the news, I guess you could say. But it definitely piled on for this week, as we had a fight last weekend, and we've got a upcoming pay-per-view that we're going to talk about. And of course, I'll pick my winners for the weekend. We'll see how that goes. So far, I think I got a winning record the first time I did it, and I went 50-50 the second time, so we're not doing too bad.
Come on, who's keeping record? You're not even writing those down. We
No, I'm
have
definitely
no
not.
idea. I know there's a recording in there, but you cannot talk about your record.
Yeah.
Let's start with this one. I'll keep your record. I'll note it.
So there was a lot of good fights that went on. It was a lot of decisions, and it was the night of eye pokes. Eye poke after eye poke after eye poke. I had 4 fights, I believe, in a row that all had an eye poke. One unfortunately ended from an eye poke, declared no contest. And that was a great fight between Mason Jones and Alan Patrick. Alan Patrick is ripped. He is. I couldn't believe, like, GSP. I remember back in the day when you seen him, he looked like, it was just like, oh my God, look at, like, that's a specimen. Same with Yoel Romero. And I seen the same thing with this Alan Patrick, and it was a very exciting fight. He's got an off the wall kind of style, but he has a tendency to gas out, which happened. He did gas out, and then he suffered an eye poke in the second round and couldn't continue. It was a pretty bad eye poke. All 3 eye pokes were pretty bad. But it was a night full of split decisions. So that was one. Unfortunately, Mason Jones, it was a no contest because of the eye poke to Alan Patrick. And then, like I said, there was a bunch of eye pokes. Wasn't too much going on in the preliminary card, except for what I believe was the main event for the preliminary card, which was Ilir Latifi versus Tanner Boser. And the only reason I make mention to any of this is because Tanner Boser's a Canadian, and I was a fan of his. Still am a fan of his. He did made his mark on Twitter, I guess you could say, with some questionable tweets or Instagram posts, whatever it may be. I know our friend Willie D, or Willie South Bay, showed us that. And but it was
our insider.
Yeah, he's definitely the insider. Our it was a split decision. I thought Boser won, but there definitely could be argument for which way that one could have went. But of course, me being the fan I am, I thought Boser won without being a fan aside. But I definitely think it wasn't a split decision that the judges got wrong. It was a very close fight.
One of the things that I'm more comfortable on it is whenever they're fighting in Vegas, I think the judges are doing a better job than other places like Florida, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes in Arizona. But whenever they're in Vegas, I feel a little bit more comfortable with it, but I agree with you. That could go either way.
And then of course you got New York, where it's anything could end the fight at any minute. Look at Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal. I know that cut was really bad, but Nate wanted to keep fighting, and it's not like he was going to bleed to death. So
I don't know if that's also that plays against Nate, because we know him and he always bleeds, and
well, because his face is nothing but scar tissue.
Him.
Yeah, and we'll see. We're definitely going to see next weekend when he makes his return fight. Apparently, I had heard. Now I cannot confirm this, but I had heard that he had a bunch of. I guess it would be plastic surgery done to remove a bunch of the scar tissue from his face to hopefully stop him from getting cut open almost immediately. As soon as he gets punched in the face, it pops right open. So, but it's been repaired so many times. All that scar tissue gets all hardened when it gets hit again. It just splits. So I had heard that he was going in to get surgery to get that done. Trying to think of what other fighter I know that had that done. I think Vanderlei Silva had something similar done when he had his nose operation done because he had his nose broke so many times. And but other than that, we'll get into the main fight of the night. Montana De La Rosa versus Ariane Lipski. TKO to strikes in the second round.
Yeah, that's the first of the fight for my favorite, all-time favorite. She's just so pretty and very skilled. It's for me was Ariane, but I mean she's a queen of violence and she just got that. She was really hurt with the elbows, and Montana was very dangerous on the elbows. Ariane got the distance very good on the first round with the good striking and skills. And when she was taken down on the first round, she looked comfortable on the back. I mean, she was not scared. She was not moved until she got the first elbow to the eyebrow, and that's when it went sideways. And I think Montana just was bull rushing her, and he was pushing, and she did a very good fight because she had that style and strategy against her, and it worked perfectly. I don't know if she's bigger and tougher, but having her 2 rounds on top of you is just exhausting.
Yeah, and it was one of the only finishes of the fight, or of the main card anyway. Well, I guess there was three finishes. It was a TKO to strikes in round two, and like you said, the elbows made difference. You could tell she smelled blood in the water, I think. And then once the fighter, you know what I mean, gets the sense that they're ahead or that they could finish the fight, they usually, you know what I mean. I don't want to say they pour it on hard, but I feel like they go harder at it, like they know that they can finish it, so they want to get that finish.
I have my concerns whenever a fighter is using elbows. We know that when you're standing, it's easily that you can get them hurt and just dizzy and drowsy. But whenever they're on the ground, you're really damaging because you're just it's like blades on top of you. And I don't know if they're looking for that type of hurting on the opponent, or it's just making sure that you're getting there. He was nasty.
I
All
was
of those
I,
elbows on top. Whew.
I was actually thinking that because that wasn't the only fight, the fight that we had spoke previous about, the Alan Patrick Mason Jones fight, the one that was stopped by eye poke. Mason Jones was on top of Alan Patrick, raining down elbows, and I had the thought to myself, I was like, I don't want it to leave, but we've seen a lot of pretty nasty elbows as of late. I was just wondering, like, I know they outlawed, of course, that's how John Jones lost his with the 12-6 elbow, and they've talked about trying to get that removed from MMA rules. But after watching those fights, do you think elbows will stay forever, or do you think there's a possibility that we could see elbows removed from certain?
I would leave it to the referees, and that would be a decision of what are you doing with it. If, for example, if she's holding your arms and you're on top, you have nothing else but your elbows to hit. Use it. But she was just pounding her face and then going all the way with the elbows on top. If you have that range of movement, you can do it with your hand. I mean, you
Yeah.
can do a hammer fist, you can do a punch. So she was just going all the way back and just leaning in. That to me, if you leave it to the referee saying, "Hey, warning, you are hurting too much." I mean, it's you can punch her. You have the possibility to punch her. But if you're tied down, because many fighters, whenever you're on your back, you're trying to pull it or push the arms inside. You don't have much movement. What you do is just turn and hit with the elbow. But that was very nasty. I'm not a fan of it because I know there's the blood gods of the MMA love it because they like to see blood and all on the ground. To me, it's too dangerous because it's too close to the eyes. That you see Michael Bisping. How many stories of people that have lost their eyes? It's
Just
too
think about
dangerous.
all
I
the
mean,
open wounds that people like Kenny Florian have left on people. You know what I mean? He's ended
exactly.
fights with elbows to the head because of profuse bleeding. You know what I mean? Blood running down into people's eyes. And, hey, that is a way to win a fight, and I guess like you really can't hate on it, but if we're gonna at all try to make the excuse for the longevity of the life of these fighters, then I could definitely see elbows coming under question with how well they've been used as of late and how much damage they've been doing as of late. And like I said, that question's crossed my mind quite a few times. With will we always see elbows in the UFC or in MMA, or how long will it be before they decide to write them out? Who knows if that'll happen.
Yeah, and as I said, my concern is she was on a full mount. You can understand the positioning in there. You have the full mount. You can just punish her with hammer fist or punches. Leave it to the referees. Make it clear so
The only problem with
everyone
that, Pep,
understands.
is you want to try to take as much out of the referee's hands as possible. Like, we're already starting to see that with the eye poking, because the eye poking has been so bad in the last little bit. And rather than get a different kind of gloves or whatever, UFC's, I don't know, it seems like they've told their refs, hey, let's really get on top of this eye poking thing, because there's warnings in every fight or whatever. Even if but we're still getting the eye pokes happening. And the ref tells him his fingers got to be up, not out. It's like, fuck, no fingers at all. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't understand that. And I could just imagine when we start bringing in a ref's decision on when or when not an elbow should be thrown, I could see that causing a lot of headaches. Whereas to me, I think it would be just an all or none kind of ruling, in my opinion, is the only way it would work.
You see the trend on the referees. They were saying every fight, watch your fingers. Just don't use it as a weapon. I mean, there's things to do, but I agree. It depends on whenever you're talking to each of the fighters previously to the fights, or see some of the styles, because we see a lot of people. I mean, we'll see Easy. He uses the elbows very good on standing, because he's faking a punch and he's just cutting the punch and then throwing an elbow. So
Yeah.
it depends. I mean, it's positioning.
There's
But
malicious
well, to
intent with an
me, it was
elbow.
scary to see.
There's definitely malicious intent with an elbow, but I would say it's any more malicious than trying to punch somebody in the face. Mind you, the punch has got padding and the elbows don't. And hey, maybe that's the next thing we do is we start forcing elbow pads. You know what I mean? I don't think that's too horrible. But we'll move right along here to the Gregory Rodriguez and Dusko Todorovic. Man, people gotta love me trying to say these fucking names. It's wonderful. But I was
Gregory Rodriguez.
Well, that's the easier one. Todorovic.
Dusko Todorovic.
Okay, sure.
Respect your Russian neighbors. You have them right next door.
Yeah, no, they're actually up above.
Anyway, geography is not my major.
Yeah, neither is mine. And neither is second languages. I barely speak French, exactly. And we got two of them in this country.
Hey, one of the things that I can say about that Russian, man, he's from Serbia, and Michael Bisping, it was so funny. He said he has a chin, and Michael Bisping, yeah, he said he does because he lives under a fridge every freaking day. He trains. Yeah. Man, he took so many damage. Those haymakers that Rodriguez was throwing, it was a pure standing fight the whole 3 rounds that we saw from them.
It was, and another thing I'm noticing too, and I don't know if it's because Khabib's influence or whatnot, but it has to be Khabib's influence, because we never seen this many fighters from that part of the world as we do now. And the wild thing is a lot of them have the same appearance with like their beard type and stuff like that. I don't know if that's something to do with their religion. I'm totally ignorant to the fact of that, but all I know is it seems like, I don't know if Khabib has a hand in on all of it. I know they've got he has agreements with the UFC to like train fighters where he's from in Dagestan. But I think it's definitely put eyes on that part of the world as far as MMA fighters go. And
I think this guy was from Siberia. My concern is that I don't know if Khabib is involved in this, because he was very timid on the takedowns. He was not pushing it. And I mean, not even faking going on top and then try to do a takedown.
But I don't even mean that. I mean, would this guy even be fighting in the UFC if Khabib had never fought in the UFC? You know what I mean? I
gotcha. Yeah. Like an example and follow up, like somebody, hey, he's from our town. He's one of our heroes.
Exactly.
Follow his path.
I think Khabib's put a lot of eyes on that part of the world. You know what I mean? Just the same as Conor put a lot of eyes in Europe when he got. Obviously, there was big European fighters before Conor, but I think I would say Connor's probably one of the most famous worldwide fighters, if not, aside from boxers. He's probably the most world. Oh no, I guess Khabib would be too, just as equally as famous.
Oh,
Hard to say.
you want to get into trouble and controversy. You want to get some people
I
mad
don't
in
know.
here because you know how divided
Yeah, I know,
is the
but
opinion
I
on
think
those.
Connor's mouth has definitely got made him more famous than anybody in the UFC, in
And
my
he's
opinion.
made the buck, and he's one of the most
But he's the blueprint,
millionaire.
baby.
Yeah, and one of the things, for example, you mentioned boxing. Boxers from that region are well known. I mean, overall, if you see the Olympics, we have a good Olympic wrestlers from that area. We have very good boxers also in the Olympics. I mean, Vasily Lomachenko is one of those that come to my mind. Triple G as well. So there's a lot of boxers as well from there. That region of the world creates just warriors, and in the MMA, I think it's coming late,
Yeah,
but some of the
definitely.
people that started on wrestling is coming now over to that line. But unfortunately for Dusko, it was not his night. He was not going his way, and Gregory just made the best out of the haymakers that he was throwing.
And yeah, he got a unanimous decision around 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. So it was a pretty one-sided fight throughout the whole thing. Moving on to the next fight, it was another unanimous decisions. It was the night of decisions. Like I said, there wasn't too many finishes. It was the night of eye pokes and decisions. But there were a lot of them were one-sided decisions. Santiago, oh, not even gonna try it. And Miguel
Poncinibio, pronounce it.
Ponzinibbio
La daga Argentina, la daga Argentina.
and Miguel
I was
Bay.
so glad to see him back, man. Santiago is one of those warriors that, if you don't know the story, he's one of the commentators for the Spanish MMA.
Oh,
He's always in the UFC Spanish channel. He battled with a staph infection, and he was almost dying. So he stopped fighting for, I don't know, like almost 2 years. So I was just glad to see him back. He got a staph injury, he had a bone injury and an infection, and he almost lost his life. And man, the first round he got it going against him. I mean, Baeza had a very good technique. The leg and calf kicks from Baeza were nasty. It was just nasty to see. But man, what a comeback from Santiago Ponzinibbio.
yeah, no, it was a great fight, and like I said, it was a that one wasn't as one sided as the next fight was. The Roman Dolid
Dolidze.
Dolidze and Loreno
Oh man.
Staropoli.
Yeah, and for example, the Santiago Ponzinibbio was the fight of the night. He got
Yeah, he got the
both
bonus, and
of them the bonus. So
oh yeah,
it
speaking
was
of
a
which,
back and forth fight. It was very good. On the third round, Baeza looked good, but he gassed. Unfortunately, he's very good technically. He's a good puncher, but man, it was just pure heart and just the Warriors mentality. And obviously, you saw the years that Santiago has been fighting. I mean, I think it's his 33rd pro fight that he's been in there, or it's like he's 13 in the UFC. He was one of the top 10 in that division, and unfortunately, all of that health issues cost him. But I was just happy to see him back.
we're finding out more and more now. Though it seems like the life of a fighter is being prolonged. We're getting a lot of the fighters and even champions well past what people would say is quote unquote their prime. You know what I mean? It's good to see, and it's good. It's I don't know if it's just training regimen, body, how do you take care of your body, or who knows what it is, but it's working. It's good to see, and I hope it's a trend that'll continue into the future. And then we finally got into another finish before we got into the big finish. Admittedly, I had actually missed the last three fights because I had to step out of my house for a minute, and I got back just in time to see the finish of the main event, which ended pretty quickly, from what I see.
You got just back in time.
Just in
Just to
time.
mention, just to mention about Roman Dolidze. That was another Argentinian fighting in there, Laureano Staropoli. Yeah, it was sad to see. I mean, Staropoli was not ready. He was always hugged. Roman hugged him and just put him in the ground like a couple of takedowns, and that was it. That was the whole fight, and it was so sad to see coming from the top of the fight that it was Poncinibio and Baeza. Both of them wanted it, just punching back and lower kicks, high kicks, going to stomach. To one fight that it was dull, boring. Roman was controlling him, but was doing nothing. And Bisping even mentioned it on the event. He said, "Yeah, that's fine. You're gonna win, but you're gonna get You're not gonna get a bonus. You're not gonna get more people following you. You're not doing anything with it. And I don't know if Roman is going to be fighting very soon, because on the post fight they were asking him, "Hey, what do you think of your performance?" He said, "Hey, I won. My face is clean. Show will come after." And I don't think that's the appropriate way to reach it. Too bad for the Argentinian, because he was out of shape. He tried to make weight. He didn't have a takedown defense. You couldn't do anything. He was frustrated in the end. They were trash talking in there. And you could hear them saying, "Hey, well, I'm kicking your butt. I'm controlling you. This is the way you're fighting." And but yeah, you didn't do anything to defend yourself. So that was a very sad fight. I mean, I'm glad that we moved on quickly to the Tibura fight, because he was a very good fight.
Yeah, but like I can understand that too, but I don't know. Is the fault on the guy for not doing anything with it, or is the fault on the other guy for not having anything to do with it? You know what I mean? How are you gonna let somebody just lay on you for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, at a moment it felt like Kevin Holland.
Yeah,
For me,
but
it
you
was just
can. I'm
frustrating.
just
It's like,
saying you can't really hate on the guy. Yeah, he won. A W is a W, and that goes back to the whole. You know what I mean? You've got to be exciting now to be. You got to be the whole package. It seems in the UFC if you want to make any money. And it goes back to the whole. You can't just win. You can't just be the good fighter. You got to be the person too, or at least, you know what I mean. Try to take it to the next level in the octagon. Like you see champions like Valentina. Valentina always tries. Like look at her last fight. She come out and submitted her opponent. You know what I mean? That's showing that constant change in their fight. Obviously, he's not had as many fights to do such a thing and whatnot, and that's all down the road stuff. But still, you can't hate on a W. I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
I agree with you, but whenever you see a game, you don't have to just look at the score, but the performance.
Yeah,
And on the Lidze, it's okay. You have the control, but he never attempted a finish. He never attempted a different technique. It was just, I'm holding you and kicking you on the thigh.
yeah,
Yeah, he won by control, but to me, it's like there is no advance, as you mentioned, as
yeah.
Valentina.
Definitely,
What have you
definitely
shown me
somebody else.
different?
Definitely somebody else is
Yeah.
going to get a contract offer a lot sooner than he probably will. And hey, that's how we get exciting fights, and that's why the UFC is a multi-billion-dollar business.
So suiting for that type of fights.
No doubt. We'll get into the next one. Tabera versus Walt Harris. This is like Walt Harris's third loss, I believe.
Yeah.
And since unfortunate events transpired in his life, I'm sure everybody knows about. But unfortunate for him, I think it was a third loss. He's fought actually quite a bit since he come back, but it hasn't worked out for him.
Yeah, it's weird because the big ticket was very good. He was exciting. He started out very good.
He always
He
does.
had to he had Tibura just hurt. Tibura didn't look good at the first round at the beginning. He landed a very good right. The problem we always say with Harris is like, okay, does he have the gas? Is he gonna make it? He starts strong, and unfortunately, just Tibura just, I mean, got caught on punches with him, and obviously just finish it on a takedown. He just landed one of the kicks and just hold the leg, one leg takedown, and that was it for Harris.
And it'd be interesting to see whether Dana continues the contract with him. I know that they've let a lot of people go, and he had said uh, a couple press conferences ago that watch out in the future that they were going to be doing some huge cuts. So it'll be interesting to see if he makes it. If he'll and if they'll extend his contract. I obviously don't know what his contract details are, but somebody who needed a win and managed to get one in very flashy fashion. Like I said, I had left I had to run to the store or whatever, or run to the next town over. So it took a little bit. So I had missed out on the three fights, and as I walked through the door, put the keys down, looked up at the TV just enough to see it, wham, knock him right out. And it's another big W for Jair
Oh
Rosenstruck. I can say
God,
his
his
name too.
name,
That's a problem. I'm having such a tough time with tongue twisters today. My tongue is not working.
Jairzinho
Yeah,
Rosenstruck.
yeah.
Jairzinho Rosenstruck. Yeah, and he was almost by the end of round one, so you just got back in time. He was. To me, it was just okay. It's 5 rounds. They're both measuring. There was just nothing going on. But Sakai made a big mistake. He was only moving one way. He was only moving right, right, right. Just fake and move to the other side. He was just moving there, and I think Jorginho was very smart. He just caught it, and just to see the power that he has,
Oh
he
yeah.
didn't land the punch very strongly. He was just a almost a miss, and he got him down. Man, the power that he's got is just amazing.
That's crazy when you look at the top of the heavyweight division. I don't know if there's, well, I shouldn't say I don't know, but there's a lot of knockout power in the top of that heavyweight division. There always really has been. I don't know if there's ever been. I would venture to say I don't know if there's ever been that much knockout power. Obviously not, because Francis is fucking champ and nobody's punches harder than he does. But it's insane when you think of Francis, you think of Derek Lewis, you think of Jair Rosenstruck, and you think Stipe Miocic,
Overeem,
Overeem.
not anymore.
He won't be
We'll talk
punching
about it.
anymore into the UFC though, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the heavyweight division is just it's on fire right now in the UFC, and I think that they got something that just prints money.
And I think Tibura with the performance, talking about the previous fight, I don't know if he's gonna make it now that Overeem is no longer in the picture. He's gonna make it in the top 10. He could get a shot for one of the upper landed or upper seated, and for Sakai, unfortunately, I don't know if he's gonna get another shot.
He said he figured out the blueprint from Francis, and the only way to beat somebody like Rosenstruck was to run in on him, and that's what he thought he was gonna do, but he didn't do that at all.
Yeah, you're so smart, and you have a plan whenever until you
You
get
get
punched in
punched
the
in the
face, like
face,
Mike Tyson
exactly,
says.
exactly,
So
and
that's the problem. And now, talking about Walt Harris, Sakai and Harris could be one of those interesting fights. I would like to see them both have Walt have his shot and have Sakai just prove right.
yeah. But speaking of Alistair Overeem, from our friend Ariel Hawanian, there's some news out about him we'll get to in a minute. But Overeem released his little retirement video, I guess you could call it, from the UFC. I'm pretty sure his contract was up, and the UFC didn't renew his contract. Um, because I think I think he actually won his last fight, or he lost. I know he lost a couple times. I know Yair, he almost beat Rosenstruck until Rosenstruck punched his fucking lips off with 1 minute to go in the fifth round and knocked him out. And it literally punched his lips off. His top lip was hanging off. So it was a pretty bad one. But yeah, he's
One
done
of
in
the
the UFC. But
nasties
yeah, it was pretty
things
bad.
I've seen.
He's done in the UFC, but he's not done fighting from what I hear. I hear he's actually going to go back to his roots, back to kickboxing. And he's going to continue on, but not without UFC anymore. And he signed with Glory, and he's going to return to kickboxing. I'm a huge Alistair Overeem fan. I followed him all the way from Pride, all the way into the UFC. He's one of the best heavyweights. Best heavyweights of all time. He's been a good stepping stone as of late. I know that sucks to say, but that's exactly what he's been. He's been that measure guy. It's like, okay, let's see how he does against Overeem. Oh, okay, this guy's a contender. You know what I mean? Overeem, very credited, very skillful. He didn't always fight heavyweight though, did he?
I don't remember if in Glory he was heavyweight. For the UFC, he did. Now, once again, here is my conspiracy theories again. You could see him in Pride and Glory, and he was like a superhero suit wearing.
Yeah,
And then he moved into the UFC, and not that much. I don't know if it was the testing or something, but
yeah. No, definitely,
he
he
didn't
definitely
look
could be.
that massive.
But he did look like a specimen when he was in the in Pride back in the day.
Yeah, back
Um,
in Pride and Glory, he was good. Now, remember, he did not win his last fight. He fought Volkov, and he
that's
lost
right.
with Volkov
That's right.
in February. But he beat before he was a guy, and I think it was Walt Harris. One of the losses for Harris was over him.
Yeah, because I know he had lost to Rosenstruck and then put a couple together. They said he was on his final run, and then got beat. He's
I think
always
he's
kind of
gonna
been
be
in the
very
fight.
good in Glory.
Well, yeah, he's returning to his roots. That's where he comes from, is kickboxing.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's an easy way just to control 6 weapons instead of a wide variety of wrestlers and jiu-jitsu, because in here
His
it's
jiu-jitsu wasn't bad
just
though. He got a lot of submissions, but he got a lot of big knockouts too.
yeah.
And as we said, Ariel
One
Helwani,
of your idols is
one of my
moving.
idols, Stu Jwani, as the Pat McAfee show likes to put it, is parting ways
The
with
heel.
ESPN. He had put out a video I actually watched. He had like a 9-minute thing that he put out on Instagram, kind of reflecting and saying how he never thought he would be in that position, how thankful he was. I'm a Helwani fan. I like what he does.
Me too.
I think he gets on people's nerves very tastefully. I think a lot of people hate him more than they probably should. If you can just cut through the bullshit and see like the person on the inside. I really like the guy. He does great reporting. He asks the questions that nobody else wants to ask, and he doesn't fucking bat an eye doing it. And I can respect anybody that does that.
I agree with you. He dares to do that, and most of the people and that is just praising some of the fighters and they don't want to ask the uncomfortable questions. He does, and not many people give him credit for what he knows. He's very knowledgeable of the sport. He's on top of things and he knows the way around the sport. I'm glad and interested to see what's going to happen. I think he's going just to focus on the MMA, because on ESPN he was doing different stints and
I
it's
think it was
not
his
his
dream.
real
I
self.
think it was his dream because he, like I said, I watched him watch his Instagram story, and he had talked about how it was a dream to call a basketball game and stuff like that. So I think it was a lot of him fulfilling his own bucket list, so to speak. And I think he realizes his own worth and how much he's worth solely. And I think he sees that ESPN probably makes a lot of money off of him as a person, as a report, not only a reporter but as a character as well. And I think he realizes that, and I wish him the best. And I think he's probably on to something that he has probably more control in, I would imagine.
One of the things that I am amazed and that he accomplished is getting the respect from DC, Daniel Cormier on their podcast or whatever show they were doing on ESPN. I mean, DC is not an easy person to get along, from what we have heard on different occasions, and obviously is one of the goats of the sport. And I was just amazed on how much he respects Hawani. So hopefully he does very well, and we'll follow him because he's one of the good sources for the sport.
It'll be interesting to see if he makes an appearance this Friday on a certain YouTube serious sports show. It'll be interesting to see.
We'll see. We'll see.
And then moving right along, Dana White. Well, this is an ad. Paulo Costa. Okay, I got mixed emotions about this.
Let's go.
I'm all for a fighter bitching about money, I suppose.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but for some reason,
But not you.
but not fucking Paulo Costa. That's exactly how I feel.
That's why I wanted to talk about this one. He's right, though. It's not you, man. You have not done anything for the sport. Francis Ngannou came and said, and I said, well, should we add the Ngannou news that he was bitching about the money that they're making? Nah, that's not controversy. But Paulo Costa speaking about it, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely got to prove a lot more before he starts bitching about the money he's making. Don't get me wrong, I do think that fighters should make more money. I've always been a huge proponent of that and everything. But with the bullshit that Paulo's pulled, gone through, and done, not even since Izzy, even before Izzy, this guy has been nothing but a pain in the UFC's ass, for lack of a better term. And now he's pulling up a fight yet again, citing fucking contract issues, money issues, and he's bitching about money.
2 in a row or 3 in a row?
I think this is 3 in a row. I think one was injury, one was COVID, and one and now this. That's
as one of the goats of these media broadcasting online, Darius Butler said, is the best ability that you have is the availability, and he's not there.
No,
I mean,
he hasn't proven shit.
You're not the voice to be talking about getting a bag.
And what's nuts,
he's not the right person.
is fucking Dana White talked this. Dana's got to quit talking. He writes his mouth writes checks, his ass can't cash when it comes to fighters. Because I remember when he bitched about fucking the Yoel Adesanya fight, and he's like, "Oh, that's not gonna happen with Paulo Costa. This guy's not gonna sit back and wait for him. He's gonna run at him and all this fucking other shit." And then Adesanya made him look like a fucking child and kicked the shit right out of him. Dana had me pumped for that fight, and I know that's Dana's fucking job. But it was on Costa and he failed to deliver, and I think he's fucking failed to deliver. Obviously, he's failed to deliver quite a few times now, and I don't think he's in any position to be the one bitching and making that stand for the fighters about money. If anything, I think this hurts the case more than it helps it.
I agree. Although a voice like Francis Ngannou and just asking them, what are we doing about paying fighters? I agree. Something must be done for the main fighters to do a bigger bag. I don't know. Something has to be prepared. Even though we're talking about a different circus, even though we're talking about they're selling an entertainment that is not going to pay off, because if you saw the event, it was not packed. I don't know how many people buy it. It was free for me because where I was located. But I mean, something has to be done for the fighters. And even Dana White messed it up on Instagram and answering a question about what are the health benefits for the fighters. He said soon, and it's soon what? I mean, what are they? He has never come clear on that one. So something has to be done.
No,
And
definitely.
I don't agree Paulo Costa doing it, but some of the things Francis Ngannou said it needs to be heard.
I think Paulo could have waited his fucking turn. Maybe it would have been a better idea. You know what I mean? Let a couple other guys voice their fucking opinions and shit before you start sticking your fucking head in there. You know what I mean? Just to stay relevant that's how this comes across to me. This doesn't come across as him like, yeah, obviously he's gonna bitch about money. Who doesn't want more money? But this comes across more to me as him just bitching just to stay relevant because he's been fucking around so much in the last little bit.
Now, my concern is who's managing him. That might be something that somebody has to talk to him and say, hey, you know what? Let's do smart things from now on.
Well, yeah, didn't he punch out Korean Zombie's fucking translator or something because he was mad at something the Korean Zombie was saying in fucking Korean?
Some like it.
He's a fucking loose cannon, and he shoots off at the mouth way too fucking much, and he has yet to back it up. Well, at least in the last little bit, anyway.
I agree.
And then we got the big fight card coming up this weekend. Actually, I'm gonna get the full card. Or is this the full card? It is the full card.
Are you questioning me? Are you questioning my authority?
So I'll pick the winners. Who I think's gonna win anyway.
Let me take a note.
And so we're gonna start off women's flyweight belt between Joanne Calderwood and I don't know the first name of Murphy. I know the fighter. But I got Calderwood to win that one. Anders Stewart. I would take Anders to win that one.
Okay.
Maya Muhammad. I'm gonna take Bilal in that one.
Okay.
Craig and Hill. I think Hill's gonna win that one. Edwards Diaz.
Oh, here we go.
Gotta take my man Nate Diaz. I gotta do it.
Expert.
I gotta do it.
You thought it too much, all right? Nate
Diaz. I think it's gonna be Nate Diaz. And then Figueiredo Moreno. You know what? I think Brandon Moreno's gonna win this one.
Oh my gosh, I hope so.
I think Moreno's gonna win it, and then we're gonna have a trilogy, and it's gonna be a great trilogy.
Wow.
The flyweight division's been very exciting because of these two. Obviously, other fighters too. I think it was a division that Dana had a hard time fighting in before because Mighty Mouse owned it for so long, and then Cejudo after him. But I don't know. It's exciting for me now. I'm excited for this fight.
Oh man, don't tell me about it. Tell me the last one, then I'll give you my opinion on the card.
Adesanya's gonna beat Vettori, no questions. I think that's my guaranteed money match.
Guaranteed?
Yeah. I think it'll be. I don't think. If I had to bet on a finish in anyone, I'm thinking that Moreno fight. I think Moreno is gonna finish Figueiredo.
Okay, I thought Easy was gonna finish Vettori. Now, one of the things, this card is very interesting. All the fights are very good. I'm interested to see Belal on his comeback after the eye poke with Edwards. He was bitching and moaning. He took it like a champ while there after the fight. He said that it was an accident, and then it turned out like, well, this guy did it on purpose. And like, what happened? I don't know what happened after the fight. I'm interested to see if Belal is able to come back strong and put the words back because he said that he didn't get the shot. Now, speaking of on the other side on Edwards, Nate Diaz is not even ranked. This is what a superstar is. We all love Nate Diaz. He's not even ranked. He's not nearly what a title shot is. He's just making a bag.
He just likes to fight.
He likes to fight, and that's what he mentioned to Francis Ngannou and Paulo Costa. Is like, you guys don't know how to manage your business. Is I'm getting the bags because you're now bitching. I'm showing you how to do it. These guys know how to do it. Nate Diaz, I'm interested to see. Edwards is very technique wise, his discipline. It's an interesting fight. My heart says Nate Diaz.
The only thing about Nate is he can, if he doesn't beat you, he can at least match you in every facet of fighting.
His cardio is just,
his cardio is insane. And if I had to pick an upset out of all the ones that I had picked, if I had picked one that I probably would get wrong, it would be the Damian Maia Bilal Muhammad fight.
It could be. I don't.
You can never count out Damian Maia, but there's a there's a lot of miles on Maia.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's still got it now. The one that my heart is in there is with the Mexican, my little assassin Moreno. My heart says Moreno, but man, Figueiredo's
just. I don't know if anybody in that division's ever punched as hard as he does.
He just has a couple of hammers in the hands, and the problem on the first fight is Moreno just took it, and he was like, well, I can do it, I can handle it. And he got surprised. Moreno surprised him. I don't know if it's going to be enough for Moreno this time, because now Figueiredo knows what he's got, and he was surprised because he was throwing haymakers and Moreno was taking them.
Oh, it was a great fight. One of the best fights
it was a great fight.
I've seen in a while.
Hoping that this one is going to be good. Arizona is going to be packed as well, so this is going to be electric if these two come out and fight like a war. So my heart says Moreno, but my head says Figueiredo. So hopefully we'll see a good fight.
I definitely feel the same way. I put my heart on that one, though. I want Moreno to win so we can get that trilogy fight. Because if the first one's near as good as the second one's near as good as the first one was, Phoenix is in for one hell of a night. And then, of course, Izzy's put on a clinic. He's fought Vettori once already and won. I think it's just another day at the office for Adesanya. It's more of a... I don't want to say a layup for him because no fight's really a layup, but obviously the Whitaker fight's the one that everybody wants to see there. This is just a fill-in fight, more or less, I think.
I want to see that rematch as well. My only concern with Vettori is the size, and I don't know if we saw a blueprint.
If he takes lessons from Jan Blachowicz, then
if Easy moved up and we saw something that we have not seen as Easy being controlled. I don't know if that's the key.
The problem is
to get to him.
Vettori's not going to have fucking 30 pounds on him. So I don't see that being as much of an issue. I think Izzy's got a good enough ground game, good enough takedown defense that it shouldn't be an issue. And I wouldn't doubt that he's probably been working on his ground game because I think he's seen holes in his own game. And if he is any champion, like any other champion, he would go back and work on those areas. So.
One of the things that I like is that they don't like each other.
Yeah.
I saw the interview that they had with Michael Bisping. They don't like each other. And one of the things that Easy said is, I'm not leaving it to the judges. So I'm making sure that this one's for real. And I am going to finish you. So it's going to be interesting. I'm more watching that one because I want to see if they really hate each other, if it's just a work.
Yeah.
I do believe they don't like each other.
I think if Vettori tries to take Adesanya down, Izzy wins by submission.
That would be interesting to see.
Wouldn't it be? And then
Yeah, it would be very nice.
so we got a lot of good fights coming up on this next pay-per-view card coming up this weekend. But of course, before we leave, we'll have to at least give a couple minutes to the debacle that took place this weekend. That is the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight.
The circus, man.
I think it was exactly. I was not surprised at all. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean. I thought maybe there was potential that Floyd could knock him out, and I honestly think Floyd probably knocked him out and fucking held him up. If we're being honest here, that one fucking right cross that he landed, it looked like Logan went out and fucking Floyd pushed him back up to keep him up, and he came back together.
Man, if to me, some of the fights of Mayweather when he was boxing were boring.
Oh yeah,
I was not expecting anything different in this one.
No, not
and
at all.
It was just exactly that. Now, there's a lot of experts saying that they saw Logan Paul win, they saw Mayweather win. It's like, who freaking cares? This is just a circus, man.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate it before what it was. You gotta see an old fucking former world's best boxer, quote unquote, fighting a fucking YouTube star. Shout out to the YouTube star for going that many rounds with a professional boxer, and shout out to the old man for not getting knocked out by the young man. So it was a circus. It was what it was. But
you know what? Floyd Mayweather lose. Because you're just getting dirty on your name.
He's just getting paid, man. He don't give a fuck. Money.
You know who said it best? Ocho Cinco.
Yeah, Ocho did great, actually, even though he almost got knocked out.
I am ready for McGregor.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
If this is what we're doing, if this is what, and you can see, like, every fucking UFC fighter there is putting shots out at the Paul brothers now. Even fucking anybody. Anyway, it's now become a meme. You know what I mean? Fight me, Paul, one of the Paul brothers, and actually it was announced too that Logan, was it Logan that fought or Jake? I don't fucking know. The younger brother is gonna be fighting Tyrone Woodley.
Tyrone Woodley is Jake Paul is gonna fight Tyrone Woodley.
I don't see that one ending well for Tyrone, but
if we are talking about it, analyze it, is the better fighter is the younger brother. Jake Paul has more technique, has worked better on it. Logan Paul just looked tired, hands were down, no combinations. A crazy jab was just a floppy left arm that he was throwing. You got so much distance that you can put him outside and just try to hit him with haymakers. And Mayweather read it.
He was gassed by round fucking 3.
I'm just going to put my hands in here. I'm going to come to you, and you're not going to do anything. It was just to see that fight. It was like, okay, it's like me trying to pretend to fight someone that knows. It's like I'm playing with a kid because he doesn't know how to hurt me. And he was just walking towards him. And man, it was just sad to see for me. But hey, anyway,
the first thing that come to mind, like you said though, I noticed for the walkouts, they must have spread people out to make it look like it was a packed fucking place, but you could actually see that there was not that many people there. But like that last Canelo fight we watched, there wasn't a fucking empty seat in the house. People were spilling over the railings, it looked like, you know what I mean? So I think it got its attention that it deserved, and no more, no less kind of deal. And it's definitely not going to be the last one. I think this is a new fighting sideshow that we're going to get to experience for a little while to come. But
one of the things that I do want to see is that Tyrone Woodley can do enough damage just to hurt the other.
See, and that's the thing is Woodley's got big knockouts, right? He's been known, like he is a wrestler, you know what I mean? But he's known for his stand-up, so it's a lot more enticing to me than the fucking Askren fight is, obviously. I think everybody knew what the fuck they were getting when Ben Askren went in there. I was not. I knew there was I knew that Askren was going to lose. And when he walked in there as out of shape as he was, like, I realized he was never ripped in the fucking, when he was fighting professionally. But when he walked in there looking even worse than he had before, now we're talking about he's had hip surgery and all this other fucking shit. I knew he was going to get fucking tuned up, and it definitely looked like, like I said, he threw the fight, but he didn't throw it in the ring. He threw it in his training. But I think Woodley's going to give him a lot better shot. Oh, yeah. Hey, and shout out to the bag that he made. You can't hate on that. But I'm more excited for the upcoming card this weekend than I will be for any one of those fucking farces. But it is what it is, and that's something we're gonna have to put up with, and we can all thank Dana White for that one, like I said before.
Exactly.
But that's another week in the books. Thanks to everybody for coming out. Thanks to Pepe for living. You know what I mean? Thanks for surviving and not dying. And thanks for being here with us this week. Everybody's glad that you're alive and well, and that you can still be here with me to do this for the few people that do like to hang out. And to those few people, we love you all. We appreciate you all. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Buenas noches.